thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Thursday, November 21st. And today is National Rural Health Day. I guess that's for you, Dale, because you're out there on the farm.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. It's also National Gingerbread Cookie Day. I feel like, Rachelle, you could probably make some good gingerbread cookies, Rachelle. Especially with all that snow out there in Minnesota.
Those are three things I think we can all get behind, right, Jason? Gingers, bread, and cookies.
Oh, I'm all about the bread, buddy. As long as it's not bread that I'm eating. Yeah. And shout out to the color red because it's also National Red Mitten Day. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and say it, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and say it.
Mm-hmm. What would you like me to say, Rico?
Sue.
Oh yeah, swoop. Yeah. Shut. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like I need my little sound bar too for the. Hopefully that arrives today or later.
We should get a button for that.
I need my little elephant stampede button. You know what I mean, for little Red Mitten Day. For all the Democrats out there, it's also National Stuffing Day and the Great American Smokeout. You guys.
Why Democrats?
Because they're stuffed full of baloney.
That was like the worst joke ever.
I mean, Dale got it. Dale thought it was funny. So I guess you obviously have no sense of humor, Rico. But nonetheless. Anyways, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above or down below on your screen to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. So welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms. And kicking it off today, that's right, we have the dope dad himself. The man who insists that orange isn't the new black, but is on the attack. That's right, it is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Yeah, Jason. And I would actually make the argument that white men are the new black.
White men are the new black. Wow. Wow. Is that because of Eminem?
No, because you motherfuckers have gentrified oppression.
Stop the cap. Oh my God, the bullshit never stops. The bullshit never stops. Oh man, never ceases to amaze me.
Don't get so.
I want to know what I'm getting credit for here.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm just waiting for us to get some reparations.
Trump already announced it. Trump already announced it.
Oh my God.
Hey, but anyways, let's not.
I just want some good gummies.
I'm trying to have some non-political banter for my story. So
okay. All right. Fair enough.
As I continue my crusade against political stories.
Yeah. Okay. Let you tell it.
Yeah. So since acquiring Instagram back in 2012. For a bargain basement price of $1 billion, Facebook, now called Meta, has overseen what was once a quirky single-squared photo-sharing app flourish into an ad-riddled multimedia content-based, algorithm-driven twerk house where tens of billions of dollars are exchanged daily to support legal transactions for all types of businesses worldwide. And I'm sure everyone here knows and or has experienced firsthand one legal industry, the fact that one legal industry has been left outside of Mark Zuckerberg's big meta house of opportunity: cannabis. Well, major vaping device company Puffco is speaking out against Meta's years-long blockade with a clever ad that calls out the company's hypocrisy. In a clever video, Puffco criticized Instagram and its parent company Meta for targeting cannabis-related content, claiming that it undermines community building for veterans, medical cannabis patients, and legal adult users. It portrays a dystopian scenario where surveillance robot, eerily similar to those recently unveiled by alleged illegal Elon Musk, disrupting a cannabis-supportive group, highlighting the struggles of individuals consuming cannabis for medical or personal reasons. The video, which coincides with Puffco's Black Friday sale, calls for an end to selective content targeting and urges Meta to revise its policies. Can we play that video, please?
Here we go. I wonder what Puffco's doing for the Black Friday sale.
Your account has been flagged.
Zuck, Adam, whoever's in there. This is our community home.
Terms of use. No exceptions. No mercy.
Wait, hold on. The world didn't want us, so we made a safe space for our community on Instagram, where we could just be ourselves and share what we love. Isn't that the point of this place? Just look at John. John is a veteran who uses the plant to stay regulated, avoid harsher medication, and feel normal in a civilian world. Sharon has stage 4 melanoma. She uses the plant to relieve pain, to get her appetite back, and simply relieve the stress of dealing with cancer. And there's Steven.
What up?
Yeah, Steven just bought it from a literal store down the street, legally.
Nice place. Even had a cold plunge.
Look, we just want to exist without the fear of being shut down. For digital policies to support and reflect our legal rights. To use products and materials that give us a moment of relief in a world of rising horrors. All of this just over a plant.
Thank you for submitting an account review. The results are in.
It's that time of year. I wonder what Puffco's doing.
All too familiar, right?
The Terminator, bro.
Right? So, let me fix my camera. You guys getting a peek into the studio over here. But it's all too familiar, right? Users have voiced support criticizing Meta for inconsistent enforcement and pointing out leniency towards more controversial content. Social media platforms have historically restricted cannabis content despite some policy changes. And while Meta did loosen its restrictions on certain CBD products back in 2023, the tech giant continues to ban THC promotions. Other platforms like Twitter, Google, Twitch, and Apple have all adjusted policies to varying degrees, reflecting the broader tension between evolving cannabis legalization and digital platform regulations. This December will mark my 9-year anniversary of entering the legal cannabis space back in late 2016 to officially announce my emerging out of the green closet. To all my old mainstream American friends and colleagues, I created 2 duplicate social media accounts that I use solely to document my own adventures into the industry, so they could keep tabs on my progress, get a peek into what's going on legislatively, and tap into some of the real shit that mainstream American news was ignoring. One on Facebook, one on Instagram. Over that 9-year period, I have been banned, shadow banned, demonetized multiple times on multiple accounts for posting educational content, interviews with business owners telling their stories, veterans, cancer patients, attempting to launch a hemp clothing company, and I've had my content banned multiple times without any explanation as to why it was even flagged. I'm sure we all have similar stories. The funny thing about all of this, I'd say the funniest thing about all of this is that the video that we just showed was posted on Puffco's backup account, Puffco HQ, after initially being flagged and taken down off their main page. Despite anyone's personal opinions about Puffco as a company or its products, I think anyone in the cannabis space, as an operator or a consumer, or just an advocate that sees this ad will immediately empathize. In fact, the ad worked on my ass, being at least one gullible Black Friday shopper this morning. And then, you know, I sure as hell take advantage of the crazy deals they got posted, because everybody knows how expensive their shit is and seldomly discounted any of the gear is as well. So it's an excellent reminder to stock up ahead of this Thanksgiving and the rest of the holidays. Either way, clever ad. Props to Puffco for having the balls to do it. And at least for me, it's earned Puffco a special place in my heart and my wallet. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm a little confused by the ad. Are they trying to say like that was that was like the robot was like the police coming to police their use of cannabis?
Pretty much.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that I was understanding all of that. And how come he didn't kick in the doors? He should have kicked in their doors.
I think it's more like they're watching you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
The tech nannies, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the part of the day where we explain things to Jason Beck.
I mean, that's how sometimes we gotta start the day. Sometimes I need a little bit more explanation. You know.
Well, I'm a firm believer in the First Amendment, which guarantees the right to be offensive to other people.
Yeah.
I don't want to say fuck your feelings, but the First Amendment is there to fuck your feelings. Okay. But what I really object to is these subversive infringements on our rights to speak our mind. And I think what happened with Zuckerberg and, you know, let's just talk about the Democratic Party trying to put pressure to stop certain messages from getting out there, which I don't agree with. We need to reevaluate information. And we can't protect people from information artificially. That's their job. It's not the government's job. Hey, if you don't like the message, turn it off. You don't have to adopt anybody's message. If someone lies to you and you believe it, that's on you. Okay. We can't artificially put our thumb on the scales and stop information, because then people get suspicious. We end up with all sorts of wild theories about why our founding fathers knew. Let people speak their piece. If people don't agree with them, tell them to shut the fuck up and sit down. And that's how this is supposed to work. In the information age, we have been a miserable failure at the information age.
I mean, I think here's the issue, the biggest issue that I have with Meta, right? Because it is a privately held company, so therefore they are allowed to say, you know, what you can and cannot do, right? If I'm walking down the street with my shirt off, can't really do anything about it, right? If I walk into McDonald's, they can sure as shit kick me out because now I'm on a privately owned business. But I think that it's the unequal enforcement of that.
That's
right?
not
because
true, though, Jenny.
Some people, Jason, stop.
It's true. It's not true, though.
Cool. If a guy's walking down the street with no shirt on, they can't do shit.
You said you.
He's in public.
You said you.
Cool, Jason. We freed the nipple. Get over it. Let me keep going. Thank you. That's not helpful. But I mean, my bigger issue is that they're not enforcing it equally, right? So, you know, I mentioned Seth Rogen, and his cannabis content is just fucking fine. However, small companies are not. So I think that that's the more frustrating part. And they have rules and regulations. I don't know. There's supposed to be no nudity. Define nudity in the terms and conditions of what it is. But still see what Jeremy Carney says, that Yarrow has coochies all over Instagram every day of the week. So I don't understand why that's acceptable, and why, if they're going to have a rule, if you're going to have a rule as a private company, you need to equally enforce that rule. If you're not going to, then you need to let it go.
Yeah, I want to say big props out to Puffco for your innovation and for standing up to the big meta giant. I mean, it was 2-3 years ago now when I first made that first little promo for Hitting the High Road. Absolutely looks like something educational, fun, whatever. Definitely not selling you anything. Facebook took it down immediately. I tried to put it back up, and then they fucking took it. Excuse me. Is it too late for F? Is it still too early for F-bombs? My bad.
No, go for it.
You're good.
All right, fuck you, Meta. No. But then the second time they took it down with big consequences. Like, I was blocked out of doing a whole bunch of shit with my account. Obviously, there's always the shadow banning and shit like that. So get with the times. I think one of their biggest problems is it's removed the human factor, because I think a lot of the shit that gets posted really isn't against their guidelines and would pass, but it's all done with AI. You're flagged with AI. Your repeal goes through AI. There's not a human person that looks at it and says, "Oh, actually, that's okay. That's okay to post." So I think that's one of the biggest problems.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I feel like a lot of times it's not even the AI; it's haters reporting people's accounts.
Yep.
That too.
Right? Like, there's definitely that aspect of it.
There definitely
I just got
is.
signed out of my fucking nonprofit, so can't wait to sign into that and figure what dickwad reported a nonprofit that does nothing but try to help people get out of prison and reestablish their lives. You suck. You can eat a dick.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the whole thing.
Say eat a dick?
Meta, I have a problem with Meta because they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to hide behind the fact that that they can censor speech, but at the same time want to have the same legal protections as news outlets as far as with the content that they're able to put out there and the innuendos and whatnot that they're allowed to bring people down rabbit holes and whatnot. And there were some Senate hearings, a couple of years ago in regards to this, and maybe we should get some more hearings in regards with Meta and their censorship of free speech going forward with this new administration coming in.
Well, Meta got a very big break from the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're immune from what you and I would be prosecuted
exactly
in civil court.
And I don't think they should be.
No, I don't think they should be either. I also have a huge problem with releasing them from liability for bots in their apps.
Exactly.
I mean, a lot of the problems we're having right now, especially in the younger generation, is these apps keep putting shit in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
They've got minds all twisted up, and there's no liability.
Yep.
All right. I don't believe in that. And anybody who thinks that Meta doesn't have back doors for the government to keep an eye on you,
mm-hmm.
you're smoking crack.
Exactly.
Okay? And so privacy is something that I don't know that people understand even what privacy is anymore.
Well, that's because
they put so much shit out there.
Of course, no one understands what privacy is anymore, Dale, because we have given up so many of our rights. And before you use these apps, you have to accept their terms and conditions. And I don't know of any single person that reads the terms and conditions, let alone could actually understand all of them if they actually read them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been a lawyer since the Reagan administration. I can't
mm-hmm.
figure that shit out.
See?
I just click on it and say whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And most people do that. But the business model, in my view, is contrary to the First Amendment. The whole thing. They're getting, favors from the government, but yet they expect to be exempt from, problems the government brings to the average person out there that's in the information business.
Mm-hmm.
The hypocrisy is hard for me to swallow. And the fundamental problem here is that people should be allowed to say whatever the hell they want to do. There are limits. Fire in a theater or
mm-hmm.
lying about somebody hurting them.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, if you believe what somebody tells you, that's on you.
I do find it a little hypocritical, though, of Puffco that they're calling out Meta, because they censor a lot within their own company. As far as like, if I was a Puffco employee and I used a Carta, I would get reprimanded for posting that on social media and may even possibly get fired for that. And so I do find it super hypocritical of Puffco that they're kind of the pot calling the kettle black kind of situation.
Well, I don't think HR knows what to do inside these businesses when you have a life on the internet outside of their business.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking at that and telling you, what you're doing outside the business is hard for us to swallow. So therefore, we're going to take action against you. Okay, is that any different than, taking action because you're female or because you're black or something like that? I don't think so. So we have to reconcile some of this with people's rights to be whoever they want to be. And I just don't think from a cultural standpoint, we know what the hell to do. We are failing the information age right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about the failures right here.
Yep. We highlight all the failures every day. Rico, what are you saying? I think you're on mute, buddy.
Check. All right.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point, Dale. And I want to echo that because, like, where are our personal spaces anymore, right? In the social media age, like, nothing is really private, and you can get fired, you can get hired, you can get blacklisted from anything and not even know why, because we are beholden to our tech masters.
Fair enough. And on that, we're going to go and go to a commercial, and we're going to be right back.
Hey, before we do,
yeah.
Happy 43rd birthday to Nick Bradley.
Ah, happy birthday, Nicholas.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Yes, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you still owe me because Tyson lost that fight, motherfucker. Pay up.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I'm just, and we're back, you guys.
All right, we are back with the man with more complaints. Yeah, we're back with up next. It's the man with more complaints than solutions. The man who's out here pumping up 45 and 47.
Yeah,
like a flat tire. Right. The man who thinks that I'm not even going to touch that one, but you know who it is. The highest Republican in every room, Mr. Jason Beck.
Oh yeah. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Man, oh man, do I have some interesting news for you guys. Because the Senate releases a long-awaited farm bill draft, and here is what's in it, you guys. Democrats are proposing to strengthen the farm and safety net while meeting Republicans on some spending demands, but climate and food assistance remain major sticking points, you guys. The Senate Agricultural Committee unveiled its full draft text of the 5-year farm bill on Monday, weeks before key agricultural safety net programs begin to expire. The release of the bill text could spur last-minute action on the stalled legislation before the end of the year, and Democrat and Agricultural Committee Chairwoman Debbie Stabenow implored moderate Republicans to support the Senate draft, saying partisan politics will continue to divide Congress and stall progress next year. In a quote, "I would encourage my Republican colleagues to join with us to get this done now," Stabenow said during a floor speech on Monday. "I firmly believe that this is the best and probably only path to pass a 5-year farm bill this year." The Senate draft moves to the center on a number of issues by emphasizing an increased farm safety net, proposing a $20 billion boost to the price loss coverage and the agricultural risk coverage programs. In a turnaround for Democrats, the bill would pay for the increase through a 5-year spending restriction on the Commodity Credit Corporation, which has been used in the past to pay for trade bailouts and climate programs. They should not be paying for climate programs, but whatever. Democrats previously resisted calls to restrict CCC funding, which has been at the heart of Republicans' plan to pay for increases to the farm safety net. The Senate's proposed 5-year restriction is less than the 10 years proposed by Republicans in the House draft, and still the Senate bill remains firm on two of the biggest sticking points for Democrats: enshrining funding guardrails for climate-smart agriculture and ensuring food assistance benefits can continue to increase alongside rising costs. In addition to restricting CCC funds, Republicans have also looked to pay their proposed boost to the farm safety net by freezing increases to the funding formulas behind the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. The Senate bill draws a clear line in the sand that we will not walk away from progress we have made to keep families fed, Stabenow said. And Congress has roughly 3 legislative weeks left before the end of the year, which is when safety net programs revert back to Depression-era law and threaten to raise food prices and upend farmer operations. The timing of the Senate draft raises questions around whether leaders can coalesce a bipartisan coalition and quickly pass a bill. And John Boozman, Arkansas Republican and ranking member of the Senate Agricultural Committee, said Democrats' proposal comes far too late. And in a tweet, he said, in an X, he said, an 11th hour partisan proposal released 415 days after the expiration of the current farm bill is insulting, he said in an update on X, formerly known as Twitter. And he says also, America's farmers deserve better, you guys. And I also put in a call to one of my friends who is a agricultural lobbyist to find out in regards to this, because this story did not mention anything about cannabis, but the farm bill does pertain to cannabis and everything. And to everyone's understanding, there are no changes to cannabis whatsoever in this draft legislation of the farm bill. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
It's part of the problem with Washington, is that every project has to have strings attached to it in so many directions. And I'm not saying the strings aren't necessary. Feeding the poor is we can't move away from that.
100%.
We can't move away from. But the strings that get attached to every bill make it so that it's, from the inception, it's really not workable. I think it's one of the impetus right now for the Republicans throwing grenades in and blowing everything up. Now, I don't know that I support all that, but certainly if you've had to deal with the regulatory state, the bureaucratic state, the administrative state, and you're going, what the fuck are we actually doing here? Okay. Furtherance of that, I don't think is good for anybody.
I feel you. I feel you, Dale. They definitely need to get the act together with the program to feed the underserved. I'm totally with that, and making sure that people have the access to be able to get food. But I also wonder if Democrats are only doing this just to throw a grenade for the incoming administration, and they're trying to set them up for failure with this kind of dive bomb by allowing for it to expire, because they're not giving them enough of what they want in order to pass it in the time allotted. So then that way the Democrats can say that Republicans just want the poor to be poor and not be able to have food and this and this and this and that.
I mean, I think. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's politics. I mean, this is not the first time that this sort of this has happened. The threats of this happening. If one party doesn't want something to happen, they'll find every nook and cranny they can to slow it up or to stop it. And this happens on both sides. It's one of the frustrating things, but it's part of our democracy, this republic we have. It's the way it's worked for 240 years. So if you're going to complain about it, you're complaining about the system. Now, can we fix it? Can we work on it? I don't know. Right now, the Republicans were handed, Washington, D.C. They got the Supreme Court, Congress, and the executive branch. So when that happens to you, rather than pissing and moaning, what's going to happen is you're going to sit on the sidelines, or you're going to have your ass up in the air getting lubed up. So here we go. Stand by and watch.
I mean, we understand how our lawmaking process works, Jason. And if the riders aren't going to go through, the bill's not going to go through. And that's just what it is. And for those of you that don't know what riders are, that's the bullshit that's tacked on to the end that fucks us in the ass and usually gives us increased tax liability that they don't discuss when they are telling us what's going on. But I mean, I think that when we're talking about food insecurity, it would be, I hate to make this bipartisan. I don't think that it should be a bipartisan issue whether people deserve to be able to be fed or not, right? But I also want to note that food insecurity in this nation has increased greatly during this current administration. It was not, and not that we're going to finger point and we can argue about that, but I mean, that's a fact. That's a fact. Have you looked at the price of eggs? Have you looked at the price of fucking milk? Rico, we ain't never run out of chicken before. We ran out of chicken. There are a lot of things that happened during this administration.
Jenny Beth, why do you hate to make it bipartisan?
Because I just don't want to sit here for 47 minutes and argue about it.
Oh, so you mean you hate to make it partisan, not bipartisan?
I hate to make it partisan, but yes, absolutely. Okay. But it's not bipartisan. It's not a bipartisan issue whether or not we should be able to eat or not. That's a human rights issue.
Yep. And we are the richest country in the world, and we do need to set that stage and make sure that our people are fed.
First.
Mm-hmm.
Bread in the games. Romans figured it out. You keep them fed and give them entertainment, the people are easily controllable. Right now, we got real problems with bread.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so real question here. Just a roundup of this article, Jason, because what I'm reading here is saying that the Democrats did bend to some of the spending demands on the political side. Mm-hmm. Did the Republicans bend to anything? Did the Republicans give up?
Republicans are always bending, bro. Republicans are always bending.
I'm asking you a real question. Did the Republicans make any compromises here?
Well, that's the whole thing is that this is so late in the game. The Republicans are saying the fact that you guys bent on these compromises this late in the game doesn't show that you guys are serious about getting something done. You're only doing it for your political, whimsical press releases to say, "Oh, we did this, guys."
I asked you a simple question. Did the Republicans compromise?
It doesn't seem like this bill is going to get passed, Rico. It doesn't seem like this is going to get passed in time. I don't.
Well, that's a no.
I'm not seeing it. What's that, Rachelle?
I don't think it's.
No one thinks this is going to get passed.
Yeah, I'm with you. But the main part of this bill too, at the same time, is that there are no current changes to the cannabis component of this bill. You guys, I think that's a big deal. I know a lot of people were freaked out about that and whatnot, and we shall see what happens in this next Congress. But on that, we are going to keep this train rolling. We're going to roll right into it.
Trap wins again.
Yeah, that's right. THCA for the win, you guys. That's right. And coming up next, that's right, it's the attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer. He's the man that can defend you in your THCA case, that can tell you all about how the weed is testing under 0.3% by dry weight. That's right. He's the founder of Armada Law. That's right. It is none other than attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody. My story today is a shout out to a Republican member of the Senate who I totally agree with and support. And this comes out of Marijuana Moment from the 19th. Kyle Yeager put this out. And the headline is, GOP Senator says marijuana banking and rescheduling are half-assed measures, arguing cannabis should be legally regulated like alcohol and tobacco. This is Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina. And I'd be willing to bet that he and I have some policy differences and other things. But when it comes to being a pragmatist and a realist, what he recognizes is we call it the trap. You know, he calls it something else, a little more softer language. But he recognizes that there is a well-established black market in cannabis in the United States. And if you don't recognize that, you have rectal myopia. There's the first starting point. And that we're in a position right now where, for political reasons, people are taking little baby steps in all sorts of different directions. None of it's coordinated. None of it is really intended to fix the problem. It's all for political posturing. So he calls efforts like safe banking or let's see. They want to do rescheduling, okay? These are all half-baked, half-assed measures to try and address a problem that if you go to 30,000 feet and look at it and look at how we handle what we might call other vice products, and these are basically alcohol and tobacco, and the federal government got burned heavily with alcohol prohibition and figured out, look, if you can't fix this with laws, all right, you need to figure out how you work with the people who want to use these substances. So they took alcohol out of a prohibited status and put it into a new federal agency. Now, there's a whole lot of discussions about federal bureaucracies and blah, 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 blah. But in my view, cannabis should never, ever have been put into the Controlled Substances Act, full stop. And when it was put there for political reasons, you know, motivated by things that today we would not tolerate. But once it got there, no one wanted to take it out. So there were incremental things done around it. Finally, in 96, these hippies in California said, you know, fuck you, basically. You're not going to be allowed to prosecute us anymore. And the federal government shit themselves. And we're still in that situation. Joe Biden offering to give, you know, if you have a conviction for possession, we'll give you a pardon. You know, stop it. That doesn't even bring up the real problem, let alone address it. So I want to give Tillis props for looking people in the eye and say, we have real problems here. Let's be pragmatic. Stop pussyfooting around this. Take this plant out of the Controlled Substances Act, put it someplace where it's treated similar to alcohol and tobacco. Get the federal government as much out of it as you can. Collect some taxes, have very rudimentary rules, give interstate commerce licenses to distributors, and then let the states handle how they want to handle this, okay? So I want to give Tillis props for that. I hope he can rally other like-minded people from both parties to stop listening to the bullshit from bureaucrats who are trying to protect their own positions and look to the American people and stop war on marijuana, because in that war, marijuana won hands down. Okay, let's stop all this shit and let's be pragmatic and realistic about this. That's my tirade for the morning. I'm going to throw this back at you. What do you all think?
Man, go ahead, Rico.
Yeah, man. It's all been half-assed. Y'all were looking at me, you, and I'm calling you out, Jason, and Gretchen.
Calling me out for what?
Looking at me when I was pushing back on all these half-assed bullshit proposals and everything. Like, you want to do something that needs to be bold, or there's be a bunch of kicking the can down the road like it always has been. And what have we gotten ourselves into over the last few years? A bunch of kicking down the road, half-assed measures. And where are we now? Purgatory. Still.
We are not in purgatory. Stop the
put
cap.
that out.
Stop the cap, bro. Stop.
Who thought there was going to be progress?
That's how democracy works.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Rico, you don't know how democracy works. Like, nah, if y'all don't go fucking hard, like, ain't shit gonna get done. Why is safe banking never pass?
Well, and it's because we have listen, we need to be paying qualified lobbyists, registered lobbyists, actual fucking lobbyists who actually have the ear of these lawmakers, as opposed to people who are just trying to get your cash for a free trip to fucking DC on Friday night. But that's just my 2 cents about it.
No one goes to DC on Friday nights. They all exit Friday nights. They go to DC on Mondays. Monday
Whenever
mornings.
You're trying to go for free, bud.
Just saying.
But I think that it's really important to acknowledge that we as an industry have done a really bad job of looking at the shiny lights and believing what people say instead of looking at what they do and what they've actually done. So I don't care if you've gotten something passed. Has it been helpful? Has it been progress? Because if not, then please kindly sit down and let somebody who's good at it do it.
Oh yeah, and a big shout out to a few people in the audience making this announcement. I just checked it, and it checks out on CNBC has announced.
I'm gonna cover this tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, Trump Attorney General pick Matt Gaetz says that he is withdrawing from the consideration.
I'm going to get this lowdown for you guys and have a full breakdown on this tomorrow.
Save himself from embarrassment.
No, not really. He's not. There was no way. There's no possible way that he was going to get embarrassed in that. But I'll tell you what. Who's the next picks is going to be Senator Mike Lee, my buddy out of Utah, or it's going to be my other buddy, former AG Matthew Whitaker.
Which is cool,
anybody would be a better pick than somebody without a weirdo case, man. Without a case like that, like this is a poor choice to put him up. Put him up in somewhere else in a different location. I guess if that's your homeboy,
I don't know. Matt, I'm riding with Matt. Matt is the most talented person in Congress.
Bad pick from the jump, man. That was a bad.
Rico, you want me to say this? Wasn't. Jason doesn't, so you might want to let me say it, Rico. Because I was doing a little bit of digging into it too, and it seems like a hacker might have gotten his disciplinary file from that hearing and from the processes that were going on and was leaking that. So that is an interesting timing, just like the wedding was an interesting time. But hey, listen, I wish the best for everyone.
Anyways, we got a super chat. We got a super chat from the Cole memo. We got a super chat from the Cole memo. It says Gaetz mistook the meaning of recess appointment. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny.
Hey, shout out to the hacker for having the balls that Republicans in Congress did not.
Well, we know it wasn't Seth Rich.
It's a anonymous hacker.
That's what I'm saying. We know it wasn't Seth Rich.
Well, this isn't the first time that there's been a nomination for AG that people kind of went, what? I mean, I don't, people in my party don't like me to bring this up, but when Bobby Kennedy was nominated for AG in 1961, it's like, this guy's never fucking practiced law. He's there because he's your brother. And he and Johnson vehemently hated each other for all sorts of reasons, and it was very controversial. But he got to be AG. So, I'm a historian. I look at this and go, yeah, he may be the grenade thrower, the turd in your punch bowl, but it ain't the first time this kind of thing has happened. And if anybody thinks you can have privacy in this age, if that report from the House committee was anywhere in electronic form, someone was going to hack it and release it. So there's no such thing as privacy anymore. Just stop it.
Hey, Jason, how do these two potential picks that you just named, where are their stances on cannabis?
Well, Mike Lee is a champion. As far as I'm fine with him being the attorney general. He would be fantastic. He's a firm constitutionalist, and he's good on cannabis as well. And even Matthew Whitaker is another buddy of mine, and he's already has been the AG, and he would be fine with cannabis as well. I'm not sure that we would get as far with Matthew Whitaker as we would have with Matt Gaetz, because Matt Gaetz had cannabis as his number 3 agenda item for once he became attorney general, and I don't think it's that high up on the list for Matthew Whitaker. But Mike Lee, I think would probably be the best pick that the cannabis industry could hope for at this stage in the game.
I think it's going to be Judge Janine.
It's not. She's not. Her name's not even in the running
yet.
It'll end up being probably Senator Mike Lee out of Utah, because that just makes sense. You know what I mean? You have a Republican governor.
Maybe Judge Joe Brown will come in.
It's not going to be any of these wackadoodle name picks that you're pulling out of your ass, Rico.
How about that?
It's not going to be any of these wackadoodles.
Just remember, Jason, that the numbers in the Senate are too close. So are we going to have more senators give up their spot? And
well, that's the whole thing, is it's not really a senator giving up his spot, because you have a Republican governor, and so it's going to be another Republican that gets appointed into that space. So it's not really giving up that spot. Utah is a safe state for Republicans, and so Mike Lee is the most natural next choice.
I vote for Judge Joe Brown, but all right.
Fair enough.
There you go. Let's get one black person in there, Jason. How about that?
Oh boy.
Judge Joe Brown.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. We're going to go to a commercial. We're going to get right back.
This plan would make marijuana legal, but would not remove all of the consequences. Explain that for us.
Why are they busting in my door after midnight over something that Illinois says is legal?
Right. We've run into so much cannabis. We've run out of places to put it.
Things are legalized, but it's not legalized completely.
My mini doc on legalization policy in Illinois is available for free streaming now at colememo.com/minidoc.
All right, stop whatever you're doing. Make sure that you hit that like button. I know we'll appreciate it, you'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.highat9news.com. And also, too, please make sure that you check out the Green Party. They are in need of some financial assistance to help alleviate their campaign debt. The website to contribute to them is in our description of this video at jillstein.com, and we hope that you will help them out. Are you all ready for America's new #1 D9 gummy line? That's right, we are bringing to you Parody Gummy. These vegan gummies are manufactured in a safe harbor facility, so you know they're going to be clean and safe, and they're not going to give you any of the runaround. Coming in, we have 3 amazing flavors for you. We have the Raspberry Riots. Also, we have the Sleepy Joes if you need something to help you sleep at night. And if you're feeling like raging and having a party time, that's right, we have the Pineapple Bad Hombre. If you're feeling like a bad hombre, make sure you head over to www.parodygummy.com and secure your bag today.
Oh yeah, y'all. We are back like we left something. And our next correspondent is straight out of the ATX. Ain't that right, Jason? Can you say it with me? ATX.
Austin, Texas. I don't understand why you guys are always trying to shortchange liberals in Austin.
What are you talking about, man?
Changing their name and shit, trying to make them identify as something else.
You seem triggered.
Just saying.
Triggered right now,
just
Jason.
saying. It's just the truth.
I feel triggered.
It's true.
Instead of taking the easy route, singing the new lows in life like the rest of the local Austin, Texas Delta 8 dabbers, you know what? This guy hit the high road and ended up in a much better place on our show. We're here to bring some a little Thursday morning heat. None other than
You guys are funny.
Stone Slade.
You guys are funny.
Thank you. I just want to say, Jason, you did not get any props for that Stebanow impersonation you did, and it was spot on. It was so good.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I know.
All right, folks, we've come a long way when it comes to understanding medicine, but there's one area we all know where progress has been a little slower. And obviously, that's with cannabis. For years, it's been treated like some sort of pariah by the medical community. Now, in 3 New Jersey municipalities, there's finally giving it a seat at the grown-up table. Trenton's city workers and school employees in West Orange and Teaneck are about to see medicinal cannabis added to their health plans. That's right, thanks to partnerships with insurance giants Aetna and Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, these employees will have financial support for medical cannabis products. It's a groundbreaking idea, really, a first-of-its-kind health plan, they say. This isn't about people sneaking off to the dispensary and hoping their boss doesn't find out. It's about integrating cannabis into mainstream healthcare for real medicinal problems like chronic pain, arthritis, PTSD, and the side effects of cancer treatments. And the program doesn't stop there. Just at covering the costs, employees can access services through LeafWell, a telehealth clinic, and Benabis, a company aiming to make cannabis more affordable. LeafWell offers virtual consultations and healthcare providers who specialize in this kind of care. It's not just about prescriptions, it's about treating cannabis as a legitimate tool in the health and wellness toolbox. This move isn't just good for workers in New Jersey, it could be a game changer for the entire country. More states are legalizing recreational adult use cannabis, but integrating it into their health benefits. That's a huge leap forward. By including cannabis in group health plans, these municipalities are setting a precedent. They're showing that cannabis isn't just an alternative medicine, it's medicine, period. They're normalizing its use, reducing stigma, and creating workplaces where employees don't have to hide how they manage their health. Emily Fisher, CEO of LeafWell, calls it a significant step forward in promoting health and equity. She says, by working together, we're ensuring that patients in New Jersey and beyond have access to the health care they need, and that medical cannabis is recognized as and utilized as a powerful tool for health and wellness. Her colleague, Dr. June Chen, adds, the New Jersey initiative is a crucial step towards creating a healthcare system that is just equitable and inclusive, where everyone has the opportunity and benefits from the therapeutic potential of medicinal cannabis. It's worth noting this program arrived at an interesting time for New Jersey's medicinal cannabis program. When adult use sales launched in April of 22, the state saw a big drop in the number of people enrolled in the medicinal program from 128,000 down to about 68,000 today. Maybe that's because some patients switched to adult use, but it could also mean that people couldn't afford the medicinal route anymore, which involves extra costs like registration fees. Programs like this one launching in Trenton, West Orange, and Teaneck could help fill the gap by making medicinal cannabis more accessible and affordable. This isn't just a win for patients, it's a win for everyone who's been arguing that cannabis has a rightful place in the healthcare system. It's a win for public employees who no longer have to rely solely on opioids or other medications that might not work as well for them. And maybe, just maybe, it's a step forward to one day when cannabis isn't a headline anymore, but just another part of how we take care of ourselves. I'm Stone Slade reporting for the High at 9 News.
Man, this is good news, Stone.
That's a big win.
That's a huge win.
Yeah.
Insurance paying for weed?
Damn, Trump hadn't even taken office yet. Can you believe it?
Bro, we've already seen lots of policy shifts already just because he's already made some statements. So you know what I mean. This is a huge win. Huge.
It's huge. I didn't mean to bring Donnie into it.
You should bring him into it.
As far as cannabis goes, huge win.
This is huge.
A big step up by a couple of insurance giants. It's good.
Yeah, man, I may go and get some insurance now.
Hey.
Stone, did it say anywhere in the article if the Jersey City cops are going to be able to, if they're going to be qualified for this?
It did not mention that, and good luck with that one. We know they're still having problems selling that one case or two.
I smell another lawsuit.
You smell a lawsuit, Rico? Really?
I smell another lawsuit coming if they don't get access to it.
How do you
discrimination?
Interesting.
Well, I'm happy to see at least some insurance company has agreed to provide some benefits in the cannabis space. But I'm also an old insurance defense lawyer, and I know they are very conservative, and they're very susceptible to the government and their agencies threatening them, or at least intimating they don't like what they're doing. So I think that this is good news, but I'm also I'm long in the tooth enough in this industry to know I want to see how it's actually implemented. Because when it comes to paying for medicines, if you submit a bill to an insurance company for buying an ounce for $400 and they reimburse you for $50 because that's what they think is a reasonable cost to produce it, then we still have some problems here.
What if you just have a copay though, Dale?
Well, there are all sorts of ways it can work. Okay, but again, what I'm saying is I've been an insurance defense attorney for a long time. I know how they work inside. They try to limit what they have to pay out. And that's where the rubber really meets the road. Yeah, you can submit a bill, but if the bill's $100 and they reimburse you $2, okay, that's a practical problem.
I'll tell you what, I think that's one way though that the trap cannot compete is if insurance companies pay for cannabis. The trap will not be able to compete with that because people then ultimately all the retails will definitely be able to undercut all of the trappers in that sense and still be able to pay all the taxes if the insurance companies cover it.
Well, that shit they might imagine if you have to get generic, right?
What happens?
Well, it's a mids market, Jenny.
Imagine if Alien Labs is not in your formulary, right? Now you got to go try fucking whatever Joe Blow Cannabis Co. 5 times before they'll cover your Alien Labs.
What happens when the cartels take over the insurance companies, Jason? What happens then?
You're speaking in
deported,
hypotheticals,
Rico.
bro. Yeah, they're about to get deported, bro. Stop it.
Does that mean we're going to see
Ice baby, bro.
a huge hike in non-insured cannabis buyers? Now you're going to have to pay like $200 for that quarter.
I mean, if you think about it, they're already run by cartels. They're just not from other countries.
Oh God, we're going to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
Big Pharma is the biggest cartel in the world, bro.
I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down and check out Anna's joint on the 400 block of Pine Street. They have amazing selection of beers, foods, and when you come down here to Anna's, you can even challenge me to a game of shuffleboard if you want to lose. Did you get that? So, next time you're in downtown Long Beach on Pine Avenue, make sure you stop by Anna's Joint on the 400 block. Not only do they have Anna's Joint, this restaurant and bar, but they also have the amazing deli next door, and then next door to that they have a very exotic flower shop. You may want to stop by and say hi.
Swear to God, Stone, that was the first shot. I swear. I promise you.
Come on, Jason, we're back.
And we are back. And Stone, just so you know, it only took one shot, my friend. One shot. One shot wonder. Yes.
One shot, man.
That's why I turned around. I was like, did you get that? Because I was like, I'm on fire.
All right.
Yep. Speaking of fire, that's right.
Visions of grandeur.
We have Miss Rachelle Gordon. She's recently married. And she has the most extensive Lego collection and apparently loves to build Legos out in the snow out there in Minnesota. That's right. Out there in the cold with her red mittens on. That's right. Is none other than Miss Rachelle Gordon.
My mittens are pink, actually.
They're pink. They're pink, huh? Pink mittens. Now, they look red to me.
Everything's red. Everything's red except for my red hat, Jason. You think that's orange for some reason?
It's because orange is the new black, Rico.
Oh, white men are the new black. We already covered it.
Go for it.
All right. So this week, I'm talking about everybody's favorite cannabis business convention, MJBizCon, which is back for its 13th event, coming up in 2 weeks, December 3rd through the 6th at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Always a trip, seeing the tens of thousands of cannabis professionals from around the world converge in a sprawling convention hall filled with lots and lots of packaging companies, pre-roll machines, and the like. Not to mention the fun panels and, of course, the after parties. So I wrote a little preview article for Green State. I'm not going to really read the whole thing. It's a little long, but I did want to point out a few highlights for folks who might be heading to Las Vegas. First of all, there are several new additions to the convention this year. They're going to be having regional thought leaders ascend on what's called the State Takeover in the Hub Lounge. So if you're from the Northeast, the Southwest, wherever, you can come and check out folks from your community, see what's going on there at the Hub Lounge. The Vault Pavilion is another new feature, which will have top breeders and geneticists from around the world swapping seeds. If you want to check out brands, there's the Weed Maps Retailer Village, and there's also going to be a special preview of Culture Plus, which is a new section coming in 2025 that highlights ancillary accessories and smoke shop products. Shout out to all the head shops out there. One new feature that I definitely plan to hit is Equity Row. Anchored by justice-minded brand 40 Tons, the expo section features cannabis companies founded by people who have served time for pot-related offenses or their family members. The activation is an important reminder of where the industry came from, honoring those who sacrificed so much so that conventions like MJBiz can exist. There's also tons of networking events related to the show, everything from MJBiz first-timers to social equity license holders. Those little get-togethers round out all of the panels, the expo hall, and of course, the outdoor smoke sesh. I will be speaking on 2 panels back-to-back on Thursday. One is going to be Meet the Cannabis Press. The other one is about creating activations that reach the mainstream. So make sure to check those out if you're there. As we all know, MJBiz is not just about the conference. There's lots of things going on around the town, rounding out Cannabis Week. Here are some of the things that I think we should be checking out. First of all, the high stakes stage at Planet 13. That's going to be a lot of fun. Presented by Good Life Gang and Beard Bros. The week-long activation will include talks from some of weed's biggest names, such as Dr. Miyabi Shields and Dr. Riley Kirk, who will cap off their Weird Brains tour with several exciting updates from the cannabis research field. There will also be live podcasting from groups like Respect My Region and Black Cannabis Magazine. And there's also going to be a special presentation from veterans in cannabis. So that's very, very exciting. There's also lots of after parties. Make sure to check out my annual party spreadsheet. Go to Green State. Maybe we'll have Jason drop the link somewhere for that.
Yes.
Tuesday's highlights include the Golf-centric Las Vegas Classic and a glitzy night with the Blunt Brunch. It's always fun. In addition to the dynamic high stakes stage programming, Planet 13 will also host Good Life Gang Beard Bro C-Cell Party on Wednesday night. That should be a big one. Other pop-in parties that evening will be the coveted Grasslands Party and Jimmy Devine's Heat Quest 3. On Thursday, Green State, actually, we are co-presenting a happy hour at the Cherie Rooftop Bar at the Paris, overlooking the iconic Bellagio fountain. The Fed is the perfect warm-up for the highly anticipated MJ Awards happening later that night. If you want to come to that, send me a DM. We'll get you on the list. And then once you're all done at the Cherie, it's going to be all eyes on the Palms as the second annual MJ Awards show goes live, produced by Fairchild. The MJs are an Oscar-style affair with a weed twist. I am nominated for Cannabis Journalist of the Year, so shout out to everybody who voted for me.
Yeah.
And thankfully, this year, there's a lot more opportunities for women in weed. As most of us know, Las Vegas has not always been friendly toward women during MJBiz, and it's no secret that the industry skews heavily male. Fortunately, this year's Cannabis Week has lots and lots of events catered toward Women in Weed. The first is Tuesday's MJBizCon Women in Leadership Forum, which is a pre-conference event curated specifically for female cannabis pros. There's going to be a content and networking lunch presented by Blunt Brunch. And then, of course, the annual Blunt Brunch Night of Glitz and Glamour should be really fun on Tuesday night. I will be there doing interviews on the red carpet. And apparently there's going to be a karaoke consumption bus, which I'm really stoked about. Wednesday, there's going to be something really cool called the Smoke and Flower Off-Site Retreat, which is going to feature a range of programming and relaxing activities like breathwork, TED Talk-style presentations, and a holiday market. There's going to be a shuttle back and forth from the convention center, so you can come and go as you please. Later that day, there's a few happy hours, women employed in cannabis and Surfside, as well as Cannabis Queens and Ganja Goddesses, 3 unique events that night for women. And then on Thursday, Minorities for Medical Marijuana will present Women in Weed Disruptors Edition at Mariposa Cochina. And of course, Babes in the Bay are coming to Las Vegas. They're going to be hosting a content suite all week at the Virgin Hotel. They're going to have a wide range of activities from a glam squad to a pajama party. That should be interesting. So yeah, lots and lots and lots to do at MJBiz this year. You can go to Green State if you want to check out all of the highlights and also get access to my amazing party spreadsheet. Who here am I going to see in Vegas this year? I hope all of you. Who's going to be there?
Me. I'm definitely excited for the Glitz and Glam Night. I'm an honorary guest for that, so that'll be fun. This will probably be a shorter trip to BizCon for me, but no, I'm always excited. It's always good to see people. I mean, listen, we all have our jokes about it always snows at BizCon for you guys, but so I'll cut this one short. But it should be a good time. I'm excited for more justice-involved brands. I hope that these are actual justice-involved brands instead of people who found someone who's justice-involved to take their company over. But that's just
or be the
opinion.
front man, straw man for their company. Is that what you mean?
That's exactly what I'm referring to, Jason. Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that pajama jammy jam. You know what I'm saying? Got some new silk joints myself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy.
Hey.
Oh boy.
Hey.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hey, man, if my FOMO level wasn't already high, it's through the roof now. Thank you, Rachelle. Thank you.
Yes. And this is going to be the first year that they're allowing for seed sales on the floor over there in the vault that Mario from Stravinsky put together and voiced the plant.
They have
plant.
They have to. They've been, I've been speaking to them for the past couple of years, and as they were acquired by a new company, they're really trying to get revenue up, right? Like there are people like myself who, unless I have a booth, unless I'm speaking or doing some kind of activation, I typically just take advantage of the fact that everyone's there for Weed Week and schedule meetings around the conference, because why would you not rather come to the Win and have a cocktail with me instead of trying to catch me through the hallways? So I think that they're trying to do what they can to continue to grow revenue. I do want to say one negative in that, and that is there's a lot more pay-to-play speaking, which is unfortunate because that muddies the waters when you have merit-based speakers like Rachelle and other people who are now unwillingly and unknowingly co-signing for folks who just maybe gave a big sponsorship package, which is unfair and bullshit, and how we continue to foster bad information in this space.
Technically, seed sales have been around in Vegas for a long time. They're just not talked about.
Well, this is the first time that they're actually going to be selling them out of booths at MJBizCon, Rico. That's my point.
I'm just saying, like, people have been selling seed in Las Vegas for a long time. You just hear more about the other end of the equation.
Are you referring to the Bunny Ranch?
I'm just talking about male. I'm talking about male prostitutes, bro. Like we don't ever talk about male prostitutes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God! All right.
You already knew Rico was going to take it off the deep end.
Also, if you're going to BizCon and you intend to consume, if you go to a dispensary or something, please don't walk your happy ass back into your resort property with your bag from Planet 13 proudly displayed, because they don't always love that. And some of those casinos are very, very, very against it and will gladly take your shit and kick you out. So make sure that you're just being smart and realizing where you are. Don't go into Drea's, don't go to places like that. They'll take your vapes, they'll take everything, they'll take your nicotine vapes. So just be careful and then don't have a bad time.
Yes.
Safety first. I definitely got bounced from the MGM simply for holding a Puffco, was not hitting it, had it in my hand, and that bouncer walked my ass out of the building. So watch yourself.
I'm surprised you didn't tell him it was an incense burner, Rachelle.
Isn't that what?
Yeah, my medical aromatherapy device.
Isn't that what Elise told the folks at the Sphere?
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
It was like your CPAP or some shit like that.
Something. Yeah, it was
I think she
incense
said she
burning
just
device.
told him she wasn't going to smoke it.
Oh boy. All right, Rico, let's roll into Dale, or excuse me, into Jenny Beth. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you see, look, you're trying to discount, black women, Jason. Come on, bro.
Stop the cap.
I'm never on discount. I'm expensive, Black Friday or not.
Yeah, I'm identifying as a black male, so
if Friday is black, does that make a Thursday brown? I don't know. I don't know. But here coming up next, Mouth from the South. Yeah, the woman who does not want to be compared to Candace Owens ever, but she remains a thorn in Jason Beck's side.
Never.
And I approve of that. Coming to the stage, the juice behind justice, serve 501c3, the great mind behind Kind Cannabis Consulting. And here to break us off with the last story of the day, none other than Jenny Beth Dillis. The realist.
Dillis the realist.
Okay. All right. Well, anyhow, so this is kind of a shitty story for Access, but here we go. The accessibility of medical cannabis in New York State is becoming a growing concern as more dispensaries shut their doors. In Erie County, home to nearly 1 million people, only one medical dispensary remains. Vera Life at Amherst. For patients like Joan Lacordo, who relies on cannabis for chronic pain, closures are creating challenges. We started at MedMen, then the Botanist, but both have since closed. Now Vera Life is our only option, said Lacordo. State data shows 40% of medical cannabis patients struggle to access a dispensary. For some, that means traveling over an hour one way to fill a prescription. Medical dispensaries like Vera Life offer unique advantages like avoiding the 13% tax on recreational cannabis and providing guidance from licensed pharmacists. Adam Stump, Vera Life's general manager, says these resources make a difference. The cost of certification is often offset by the savings on medical cannabis. Patients also benefit from personalized advice to avoid medication interactions, Stump said. For patients like Jan Lochner, medical cannabis has been life-changing. I switched from opioids to medical marijuana for my back pain, and it's helped tremendously, said Lochner. As recreational dispensaries expand, owners like Sheldon Anderson of Public Flower in Buffalo say they're stepping up to fill gaps by providing education and alternative products. Meanwhile, the state is pledging to support sustainable and affordable access to medical cannabis, ensuring dispensaries like Vera Life can continue serving those in need. So this is just a tale as old as time. When you transition to an adult use market, we see which players were medical because they wanted to be medical and they wanted to serve patients, and which ones just wanted to get their toe into this market, waiting on it to turn recreational. And I think that we as an industry need to do a better job of acknowledging the reason that we're here. And a lot of these markets would have never passed in the first place unless we had the medical argument, unless we had the patients who truly needed this medicine. So we just can't turn our backs on those people for higher profit margins. And I think that that's deplorable. And obviously, MedMen, not surprised you did it. But, I'll throw it back to you guys. I think this sucks, and this is sad for the patients of New York.
Very sad. Very, very sad, Jenny Beth. Yeah. I mean, because medical is where it all started. And I hate when all these companies go against the initial roots that really gut them to where they're able to operate in this capacity. It's very it's like sanding against the grain, I would say.
Sanding against the grain. Okay, Jason.
It's rough.
Jason coming through with the metaphors today. I like it.
I try, Rico. I try.
I always get.
Go ahead.
I always get so sad when these medical dispensaries and medical patients specifically get left behind. Everyone wants the shiny new thing. When rec happens, people forget, and it's just really, really unfortunate, and it's a disservice to the patients. You really hate to see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cannabis continuing to be a microcosm of the greater American experience. I'd say everything's going towards more and more capitalism. Is what it is, unfortunately. And we're going to continue being champions of meds over mids. But people want to get paid. Bills got to get paid, too.
That's true. Bills got to get paid, without a doubt, Rico. Stone, what do you have to say about this? I know you're sad.
Makes me sad. No, it does. The medical patient gets kind of leapfrogged once the masses get what they want. So, I think a lot of these places too, they don't even take it seriously as a medicine. So there's that too.
That's fair.
For real.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did 5 years in prison trying to advance medicine, and it's hard to watch what's going on right now. And if we could get insurance companies to actually infuse cash into medical businesses, I think the pendulum would swing back towards medical more. But you gotta pay your bills, and whether people like it or not, there aren't enough either pure medical products out there or people who know what the hell they're talking about when educating about pure medical products, because the money right now is in the rec. So high THC levels, they chase those kinds of things, when in fact the entourage effect for sick people is more important than have 30% THC. But you got to pay the bills.
Facts on facts, you guys. Man, it's a sad story to end on today, but you know, it is important to get this information out there to people.
Well, I didn't tell you to put black ladies last.
Well, you get your story in earlier then.
My story for Friday.
Everybody else had their story in.
Does that mean I'm first? Because my story's already in for Friday.
Yeah, you'll be fourth. You'll be fourth tomorrow.
May the 4th be with you, Jenny Beth.
That's right.
And thank you all for joining us for another episode of High at 9 News. Catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to the super fans showing love, getting their comments posted live on the big screen. The Cole memo coming through big today. As always. Any other ones today, Jason?
Yeah, just the Cole memo today.
Cole memo always coming through, man.
Yeah, thank you, Cole memo.
Show sometime, my brother.
Shout out to Illinois.
Yeah, man, the loudest of all states. And also our live audience and online supporters catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. Our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective, your respected opinions to the table. Our production team, Cloud Media Partners, Millie and Adam behind the scenes, keeping our lights on and AV struggles to a minimum. As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason why we show up to read these stories every single day. Thank you too, baby girl. Today has been Thursday, November 21st, 2024. The show is over. Hope you've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Enough, at least, to fill your pipe up until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News, America's #1 daily cannabis news show. And today we're going to pop things right back out to the coldest of all states today in memorarium of the late, great VP candidate, Tim Walz.
Late and great. I don't know about all that, but definitely late.
Late or is he great?
Yeah.
Rachelle, what do you have for us? Go take us out with some good news for these people.
Keep the vibes high. Don't be a dick. Go build a Lego set. Love you.
Yes.